Down. Okay, actually, I did want to start it off with this up there and just kind of, whew, lost two heroes back to back days.
Mm.
Freaking sucks. Rest in peace to both of these gentlemen. I can speak for myself and say they did a lot for my childhood. A
Oh yeah.
whole lot for my childhood, just with Star Wars, Ninja Turtles, Lion King, and many other things that James Earl Jones has done for everybody from childhood to adulthood. And it's almost like for certain people, for certain we all know everybody's human, but for certain ones when they go, it's almost like holy shit, like they're really gone. Like it's almost
Mhm.
like losing Superman in a sense because Superman's a
Mhm.
comic. It's almost
Well, yeah.
like
Imagine
he's
how we
really
felt when
gone.
Christopher Reeves died.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the
Mm.
same. The thing about James Earl Jones and the other gentleman is who we were talking before is both of them have huge catalogs of work, but they both do something very few people get a chance to do, and that's to create a phenomena via their voice.
yes,
Mufasa, Vader, Splinter. That's why these are like because they're in the just the cultural in general. So
yeah.
mhm.
That's
Oh,
awesome. Jamie got married on the 4th, May 4th. That's awesome.
may the fourth be with you.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. But it really makes you think, like, seeing the James Earl Jones passing, I'm just like, damn, man. And I
Mhm.
was just talking about like the Lion King Mufasa and how the original Lion King, from '94 is one of my favorite movies. And the more I watch it, even as an adult, you understand it more. Like
It's a Greek tragedy.
you understand it more like from the fatherhood side of it. I don't want to get all deep
Mhm.
and all that. And then again, Splinter, same shit. And I'm just like, and like looking back and looking at certain morals that probably all of us have and grew up with, and a lot of us grew up. I'm not saying you were always in front of the TV because we did go outside and stuff, but a lot of things we grew up on a lot of the same things, and you're in front of the TV, and a lot of these quote unquote, if you had a father in your life or not, there were still these extra figures, positive male figures, cartoon or whatever they were just looked up to. That was so
Mhm.
cool. And with these ones, it was just like with Splinter, it was all about respect, this, that, and the third. It wasn't even about the martial arts. It was mainly about respect and control. And you learn these things a little bit. You don't really pay attention to it as a kid, but then looking back, like right now as an adult, you're just like, holy shit. Like I was really learning when I was watching these cartoons all over the years. And now I'm like, damn, but fuck. But rest in peace to both of those gentlemen. Because
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
holy shit. Back to back damn days. 2024, what the fuck? Cat Williams, you were right about some shit. This is a wild fucking year.
Mm.
This is a wild year. And I'm just talking about that, not all the other nonsense going on.
Mm.
But let's get to why we are here tonight, people, to discuss Grotesque.
Yeah.
And we actually have the director on here, which it just worked out in a funny way how the hell this happened. Huge shout out to Jamie for this. I don't know what
Thank you,
magic you
Jamie.
pulled from from last week, Jamie, to this week, but that was awesome. And it was just it was I guess it was just meant to happen. It was just meant to happen. Like because she started watching us last Tuesday,
Well,
and
she was on before, I think, too.
Yeah, I think so.
Other shows because she mentioned Skinamarink, I think.
was that from wasn't that from last week though?
No, I think it's the
But
week,
there were a couple
couple times
weeks.
Before?
before.
Yeah.
Either way,
Hmm.
we would have learned about Grotesque last Tuesday, I believe. Threw it on
Hmm.
the wheel, and we're here now with the director. So what we're doing now, because this was all like thrown together literally within the last less than 24 hours,
Cool.
Mhm.
which is awesome. So we're doing like an interview slash review. We're going to be discussing the movie, and we want to know how you feel about this movie, Jamie. Like as far as in the comments, if you can let us know how you felt, working on the film, but also how you feel about the movie. And well, you've been commenting a lot more lately. I'll say that, and I'm great. I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy for it. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. And please, everybody, follow us over on Horror with Sir Sturdy. Please. That's like the main thing. I know we're on the Z Network as well, but that's like a mixed bag of all of our contents. This is like the main. But yes, happy to be here. Happy you're here. But I would love to hear from you though, Jamie, how you felt about the film. Not only working on the film, but actually when the film was done, how you enjoyed the movie, if you enjoyed it or not. And same with you, Brad. Same with you. Like we did this. James and I did this quite a few times with our interviews, and it made it more interesting because then you really see how you really feel about the finished product because you're discussing the film with us, and you may say why certain things happen in the film, this, that, and the third, and it becomes pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So
Let's do it.
I guess.
Yeah. So
Kicking it
thanks for joining us, Brandon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yes.
Kind of like coming on at the last minute and talk about Grotesque, and it's a good time too because Grotesque 2 just came out very recently. So
Oh, check that out.
I want to kind of promote that as well.
Ooh, you're gonna promo that, and we're gonna have to run it back. It sounds like.
And did you write the film as well, Grotesque?
I did. Wrote and directed.
All right, so
Or many hats.
Yeah.
I guess
Your baby.
We'll kick it off with you then. How'd you come up with this? With the premise of this?
It was kind of an idea that had been kicking around in my head for a while. Originally, it was more going to be straight horror. If you look back on, I think go on IMDb, like somewhere on the internet, you could find the original posters, the one where Mildred just has the bloody tape around her face, and you can tell it's not comedy; it's like a serious slasher. But as I started writing the script more, working on it, I just started injecting more and more comedy, and then it kind of just became funnier. And then as we started making it, Elizabeth came on board, and everyone else, it just kind of did a left turn into just pure, slapstick kind of comedy, which I'm glad. I think the movie would have been worse if I had tried to make it too serious. I think the fact that it's so ridiculous is why it appeals to so many people.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, sometimes I even get criticized by people saying that, oh, it's totally not scary. And it's like, well, like what made you think that I was trying to be scary? Like, it's the least scary movie ever. Like, it's more comedy.
It's a movie made for horror fans. It's a movie made for horror fans. It's nice
horror fans
love
absolutely
for
love
that.
it, but they're not expecting.
We want a certain thing. We want that nice love letter to that stuff we like, and you did do a great job with that.
Yeah,
and I got some references in there to other slasher movies that a lot of horror fans kind of point out and stuff.
Yeah.
I did appreciate some other reference other than Roxanne, the movie Roxanne with Steve Martin. But I did appreciate the reference to the TPS reports.
Oh, yeah.
We
you're
both cracked up. As soon as we heard that, we started laughing.
You're the first person to mention that. All
really?
along, like, no one ever got that reference. Like, everyone loves Office Space.
I think Office Space is great. I think I said the same thing before. You know that meme with Leonardo DiCaprio hold the drink and pointing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was us.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That one right there.
And I totally.
I was really quite just surprised. Like, I kind of knew we were on to something as we were making it because some of the effects, some of them didn't work so well. Some of them did. We did them all practically, pretty much, like 99% practical effects, and we were kind of learning as we go. And it was like the biggest movie I'd done by that point, and it could have like sucked basically. But something in my mind, I was like, I think we're on to something here. There's going to be people that like this. So I wasn't that surprised that it kind of did very well and has a lot of fans. But I'm in a way still surprised that, every day, the movie came out a couple of years ago, and I meet new people all the time that are, loving the first one and, get excited about Mildred. And so, yeah, I hope to continue it on with Grotesque 2. That's out on DVD. It should be out on streaming any day now.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this movie was definitely funny as hell. It just had some real funny, silly, cheesy parts, and you're just like, "What the fuck?" But for whatever reason, you accept it. You're just like, "It's working." I'm enjoying it. It's fun. Like you said, it wasn't scary, but again, like there's different. Like us, there's horror fans, and we're all over the place on that scale. We're some of the ones that'll just watch you just throw a movie in front of us, we're gonna watch it. Kind of like throw food in front of a dog, they're gonna eat it. That's pretty much us with movies. And you learn to appreciate movies for what they are. Like with the horror comedies, you understand it's gonna be a horror comedy, so it's not gonna be scary. It's gonna have horror elements in it, yes, but be more of a comedic turn to it. And this did its job with that. I will say that it definitely did its job with the comedic turn. Just a lot. So even when my wife was up here laughing at certain parts, and
did she like it? That's why I didn't want to say anything because I don't know if she liked this kind of movie.
She didn't watch the whole thing. She came up here for like towards the end, she came up towards like the end ish.
I feel like she would like it.
But she had some fun when she was up here watching it. Though she was laughing.
Yeah. Well, I watched it yesterday morning, and at first I put in the chat because soon as I seen Mildred come in the nose, I wrote in the chat. I said, "What the fuck am I watching?" Right? I was like, because it's so bad. Like you can see the makeup, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I'm like, "Where's this movie going to go? What's going on here?" So I'm just so I automatically like, okay, I'm preparing myself. I'm like, this is gonna be bad. But then it started going. I'm like, then the comedy started kicking. I'm like, wait a minute, and oh my god, it was a roller coaster. Yeah. It just ramped up to a funny movie, and I enjoyed the shit out of this fucking movie.
Yeah,
that's the honest truth. It was so hard for me not to give anything away and say nothing in the chat because I wanted to say so much shit during it. Because I was like, what the fuck? I'm fucking dying. Like she lets some people go. She's like, no, you're okay. Could you give me 10 minutes before you call the cops? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Or the one dude that she let go, and she was like, no, you can go ahead. You can keep partying or go back to whatever. He was like, can I just leave? She was like, yeah, go ahead. He left. He screamed out crying. I lost my damn mind. I was like, and in the back of my head, I'm like, she's letting him go. He could easily just go and call the cop. He could easily just knock her out, like easily. I don't know why nobody did.
No one.
But I'm like,
hey,
just call the police. And
it's funny, man.
But again, for the type of movie that it worked for that because it was supposed to happen that way. Of course, all the other shit happened.
Well, slapstick, you suspend belief. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, with horror, you should suspend belief just in general with a horror film. With the stuff we watch, you have to suspend belief, which we do because we love that genre, or else we would hate it. If you can't suspend belief, and you know what I mean. With horror, you're not going to like too much of it.
Yeah, it's almost like grotesque. It kind of happens in its own little world, and it's kind of thing like she just happens to find weapons laying around, like
like the axe. The axe was my favorite.
And Chase, my god!
She's like, it's an axe. She just skips over to it.
Yes,
smiling and shit.
Yeah,
like this chick is crazy.
Okay.
My kind of theory is that it's like once she starts killing people, once she starts doing like what she's meant to do with her life, it's like the universe just lays out everything in her path to make it happen. So
it's so awesome.
She's on the highway, needs a ride. Hey, she finds a ride. She
exactly.
needs an axe. There's an axe right there. She needs a fishing rod. There's a fishing rod right there. We continue a lot of those themes in the second one where weird coincidences just happen to fall into her lap.
My favorite weapon was when she made the stick. And she killed the person, and it broke. She was like, she broke it. She was like, "Oh, I was hoping for more kills." She wanted more kills with it.
The fact that like one
whittling is not fun.
Stabbing led to this whole thing was hilarious.
It was oh my god, it was hilarious, ridiculous, hilarious, and it just again it did what it was supposed to do, which is give you the laughs with some fun, funny, silly kills. Like when she, when the dude's yelling at her and she's walking in the water, she trips in the water, she starts running, or she's running, jogging in the water.
That part.
And she rolls up on him with a strap on, told her to turn around and throw it. I was like, what the fuck?
Tell us more about that part, Brandon.
Yeah.
That actually, funny enough, that came up at that was like a last minute thing. Like that wasn't even in like the final drafts of the script. Originally, it was just supposed to be her on the beach. It was like that scene was a bit later when she was at the camp. She was supposed to be like laying on the beach, like sun tanning, and then she's like, enjoying the sun or whatever, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be on a killing spree. What am I doing?" And then she goes back to killing. But where we were shooting, there was no beach there, like by the lake. So we had to shoot it somewhere else. And then Elizabeth, who plays Mildred, she's like, that scene where I'm just sitting there, like in a bikini, like it seems wasted because like there should be a kill there, but we didn't have any character. Like all the characters in the story had deaths already. So we're like, well, we could just make up a new character. But it's like, okay, well, how do we do that and have it make sense? And so we kind of brainstorm. And this is like we're in the middle of shooting the movie already. So we kind of decided, hey, what if like she's just at the beach and some guy's like catcalling her? And it's like, oh, hey, and then how would she die? And it's like, what's something that we could do that, because we didn't have a lot of money, we could do cheaply and quickly. And then also we came up with, what you see. But then it came a matter of like, okay, we need a dildo by tomorrow. So somebody wants to have this awkward conversation with the cast and crew to raise hands of who could get one. So luckily our art department
telling your AD it's taking day. So, yeah.
They found it.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
That's great, man.
It'll be funnier if someone was in the room and just opened their purse and just threw one on the table. Say, here you go.
What's funny is like when we were shooting that, there was like other people at the beach, right? Yeah, we couldn't look it up.
Man.
There was people hanging out around there, and so we were trying to like stick to our own little area and hope that they didn't come over because it's it might be a little bit have some questions about what we're doing.
Also, leading up when she's running and falls is a great 10 reference. So,
I didn't intend to do that one. I'll say.
Yep.
I kind of had this thing where, like Kane Hodder, who plays Jason, he's kind of said that he wants Jason to always look cool. He's always tough. Like he never looks down. He's like he never shows any weakness. He's always like perfect. Where I did the opposite with Mildred is like she's kind of awkward. She's trying to run and then she falls. Some of her kills don't work and she gets embarrassed. Like she's kind of like learning how to do this. So you'll see that in the second one too, where she just gets caught in these awkward situations where she's trying to kill someone and it kind of like backfires and doesn't work. So I think that's just kind of gives her charm where she's in the fight with the main villain woman and then she tries to do the kip up and then it doesn't work and she's like, that was supposed to look cooler.
I feel for her. I'm perpetually clumsy too, so I can imagine going on a killing spree with me would be not a good idea. Well,
this is one of the movies that I was rooting for the killer. I hated every one of those people. I was like, go Mildred, kill them all.
Yeah, I think there's part of that in everyone where you would love to just lash out like that at everyone who's pissed you off in any way. But of course, you don't want to go to prison and you got to live life and you just can't do that. But it's fun to see someone else do that. Like just anyone in your history who's ever even looked at you wrong, you could just go back and just like kill them in the most horrific way. I think that it's just something satisfying about seeing that kind of thing. And Mildred actually gets to do it. And it's funny because if it was real life, like that's the most evil thing ever, right? Most of these people didn't deserve to die. But watching it in a movie, and then you cheer for her, so it kind of
shows you've also done the whole revenge film on Overdrive, which is the fun of it. Because I mean, in a nutshell, that's what it is—a revenge film, and it's just you just take it and it just because your pacing is extraordinarily good too. I wanted to point that out. It's
like most revenge movies, that like whatever happens to the main character, it's something horrible, like family getting murdered, like it's something that you would want revenge over. Whereas in this, it's something that probably didn't even need revenge. She could have just quit her job.
It's the opposite of the concept. You
know what was funny about this though, and Jamie, I will get to your comments really quick right after this. Was like I'm watching this with my wife. She came up at I forgot what point she came up at. I think it was a little bit. Actually, shit. I was 33 minutes into the movie, so whatever that means. Because she asked me how long the movie was. I was like, oh, she'll be look, I'm 33 minutes in. But she was like, this would be a girl's type of revenge. Like, remembered everything she's mad at and everybody she's pissed at. Because us guy, we're gonna forget anyway. One, we're gonna forget, and two, it's just like, listen, man, that's way too much strategy and work. And I gotta go all the way across the street. Like, it could be your next door neighbor. Like, I gotta go all the way over there and kill him. you know what, man? I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna eat some popcorn. I even forgot why I'm mad at her, but she remembered every single like they forgot who she was.
What was it? Her third grade or first grade teacher? What? I forgot what teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that
took
was
her, took her eyes out. Took her eyes out. But I do want to get to the comments because Jamie was talking grotesque. It's just the combo was flowing. I couldn't pull away from that. But she did answer the first question I asked about, and she did enjoy the film and enjoyed working with you guys and all that, which is, I love hearing that. She mentioned she has the original poster.
Oh, nice.
And the crew would giggle enjoying watching this film, which is always awesome to hear.
There was a lot of laughing on that set.
I was
And
just
the
going to
entire
ask
theater
that.
was
Like,
laughing.
it looked like you guys were having a lot of fun. Like everyone just looked like they were having fun, and that comes off on screen. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So my question is for movies like this, like for movies where it's a comedy in general, to where there's gonna be funny parts and funny things happen, especially when she's running, and because it's supposed to be like a sexy scene and she falls. That's fucking funny. And like, is there a lot of takes because of laughter, or are people like really good with that? Because I'm just thinking of myself. I laugh at you could ask these guys, especially if I'm high. I laugh at a lot of shit. Well, I shouldn't be high on set, I guess, but in general, I laugh at a lot of shit if it's funny.
Our crew we're like very professional, so there's a lot of laughing, but I can't even remember a single time where we ruined a take because of laughing. It would usually be like, and cut, and then everyone would burst out laughing. And there was a few times, like some of the deaths, where we'd be like packing things with guts or brains or whatever, or the part where we drilled the guy's head. There were parts like that we were like laughing over because there was like no sound, and we were gonna add it in later. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of experimentation, and I'm kind of glad that we were. I wouldn't say like, just that we're low budget. Like there's almost less risk. Like if we were like a veteran film crew with like $100 million budget, like it would be way more serious, and then it becomes all business. Where I kind of like the fact that it's just like, part of it's like we're just hanging out making this horror movie, and we all act very professionally. Everyone's good at what they do, but it's so much fun doing it. So there was a lot of laughing, but there was I don't think there was any ruined takes because of laughing, because we didn't have a lot. I think we shot the entire movie in like 11 days. So we were like, everything. We would do we do a take, and if it's good, we'd go on to the next shot. And if we need to do it again, we would. Like that whole fight scene, like the epic fight scene at the end, we did that basically, I think, in one long take. I was like, I guess James Hastings would be on camera, and we just like, we're losing sunlight. It's like we got 20 minutes before the sun goes down, and we don't have any other time to do this. So like, we'd rehearse the fight. So it's like, go, and I'd be like, hey, do this. Now lay on the ground, do this, do that. And miraculously, even while we were shooting it, I was like, I'm going to get to the editing suite, and this is not going to work. And it's like, we cut it together, and it's like, holy crap, that's a good fight scene. Like, no one would ever guess that we winged that in like 15 minutes.
You know what I could say? What you guys did with this film too, like for like a horror, for a horror comedy in the indie film, is it wasn't super long. Like it was like the perfect time to where I feel some people, I don't know if they do it just to feel like they have to cram in more story, just to cram in more. But you guys are like, look, it starts here, it ends here, that's it. And it's just one of those ones where it just works like that. And it's like, I think it makes the laughter better versus if you try to drag it out too much, it's kind of like, you dragged it out. Now it tails off.
Yeah, I've gotten to be a pretty efficient editor over the years, which is hard. That's why they always say don't edit your own work, because you want all your work to be there. Whereas I've just kind of learned to like we cut out entire scenes that were in there that were good, but it's like it messes with the pacing, and I don't want there to be any boring parts. A lot of movies, like, they're good, but there's some parts that are boring, and they're the parts you fast forward through when you watch it a second or third time. I'm like, I don't want any of that. I want like every second to be good. Which is hard. So we trimmed it down. And even as we were getting close to the premiere, I was like, I'm going to go through it again. And even just cutting like 2 seconds off this shot here and a few seconds doing that, and it cuts like a minute out of the film. And it's like, now it's like 5% better. It's just like, it flows even better. So it's like it just takes that kind of commitment, because I know a lot of people, like, actors, because we've had a lot of actors we work with that, they'll basically put some of their own money into it and stuff, and in exchange, they want to say in the movie, and they just want themselves in the movie as much as possible. But it's like, no, if the scene's starting to get boring or it doesn't work, like, we can't just show your face, because there's more at stake than just your ego or my ego.
Right.
So it's like just trim it down. And a lot of people have said, like, Grotesque is better. Like, the more you watch it, like, you start noticing things. So we have, like, even on Instagram, we have some of these kind of like super fans that are just like watch it like 100 times. Jeez. And they're always like, oh, I just noticed this thing. And it's funny, even my parents, who were like, I don't think they've ever, my dad watched Chainsaw Massacre when it came out in the theater and when he was a kid. And he's like, after that, he's like, pretty much never watched a horror movie. So he was skeptically going to watch this. Him and my mom watched it, freaking loved it. So he's like showing it to family, showing it to friends. And even he said, he's like, the more you watch it, like there's just like little things you kind of notice that you never noticed before. And he's like, it's even more so with part 2. So it's kind of like, for a movie that seems so, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of depth to it. But even now when I watch it, it's like, oh, I start to notice things that, like, I didn't even intend for there to be. Like, there's this kind of little subplots and other things in the background you notice. And some of it, it's referenced in the next movie. But you just kind of look at the people in the background and little things you notice. It's like, oh, this and this. And okay. And it's kind of like, people even say, like, if you pay attention to the sound and the sound effects, like, there's layers of that, which to me, I thought we could have spent more time on it. We just ran out of money. So it's good that people just see a lot of value in the movie, because there's some of the like classic slasher movies or The Exorcist that I've seen like 50 times, right? I like watching them once or twice a year. I'll bust them out again and watch it. So I kind of like that people see Grotesque as something like that, that's not just like something you watch on streaming and then a week later you forget you even watched it and you can't remember what it was called. Like, I want people to, like, the second they see Mildred's image, they're like, hey, I remember that movie. I remember what it's about. Like, I kind of want to create something like that, and I hope that I have.
I like that.
I think you did.
I think you did too, and I'd really like to see the sequel, just to see where that goes with this, to see where it carries the story, because she's killing a lot. She's a crazy ass killer. I'll tell you that. She is
so far, everyone's saying that Grotesque 2 is way better than the first. I love all my children the same, so it's hard for me to pick one. But from what
you
I'm
have
hearing,
to have a favorite. Like, everybody has a favorite child, though. Parents do admit that. They'll tell their real kids, like, listen, I love you, but that one there is my favorite.
I've never been told that.
Yeah, horror movies especially, it always seems like they go through cycles. Up times and down times, and I feel like we're in an up time. We're getting this new generation, this new Mount Rushmore. Before it was Freddy, Jason, Michael. You could argue Chucky or whoever. Leatherface with the fourth one. You're shaking your head, but you know what I'm saying.
Chucky,
yeah. Now we got Art the Clown. Now we got Mildred, and who knows what else is to come? Because I feel like horror movies are coming back. They're in that upswing.
They really are. I feel like over these past couple of years, it's really been stepping up. And I'll even say just like horror in general, as far as like the bigger movies, or not even the bigger, I'll say the theatrical releases. I won't even say the bigger movies, because a lot of indies went to the theaters. But there's a lot of theatrical releases where a lot of those indies are really hitting, and you're just damn, that's a
lot of smart
movie.
Distribution.
That as well.
Smart distribution.
That as well.
And you don't need $200 million to make a good movie. You need passion. You need what people
narrative,
want. Yeah. Horror filmmakers making horror movies for horror fans.
Yeah,
that's what makes money. That's what
you have like Hollywood executives making horror movies for the wide audience to make money. It's you lose something there. It's like people can tell when it's not authentic, and it's like. Yeah, I'm not sure what you guys think of like the new Exorcist movie, but probably the same as everyone else. It's like
talking to you, Blumhouse.
It's like it's just that's not how horror is supposed to be. Horror is it's like something, and it's kind of like same reason I like heavy metal music. That it has a very like hardcore fan base where it's not just popular music. Like some of it is very popular, but it's kind of like you're part of something cool. You're part of something that means something and needs to be protected. You can have your, Taylor Swift's, whatever, they're doing their own thing. You can have your big Hollywood movies, but horror, it's just like something that it's like it means something a lot to us, and it means a lot more to us than just like general movie fans realize. And that's why it's a big deal when you fuck up something like The Exorcist. It's just like it's just kind of like a needle, a knife to the heart. So it's like like horror fans.
Well, it's not the first time they've screwed up the source material on that one. So
and aren't they trying again? Isn't one coming out next year?
Probably.
It's supposed to be a trilogy now.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think they can that because the one did so bad. They were just like, you know what?
Yeah, David, whatever Green, that dude. I guess he backed out of it. But now they're doing something else with it, and it's like,
I think the dude from Netflix who did the
Mike Flanagan.
Hill House. Yeah, Mike Flanagan's doing it.
I'm not mad for what he's been doing. I know we've seen The Exorcist over and over and over. But seeing his take, I'm not mad at it.
Either way, I'll end up watching it. But at this point, I've given up any hope of liking something, and it's just funny that a lot of the most exciting things in horror are happening not at the studio movie theater level, but at the streaming level. Like I can't remember the last time I loved a horror movie I saw in the theater. Like can't even think off the top of my head.
Gosh.
But when you watch stuff on streaming or DVD, it's once in a while you get a hit that you really like, and it's usually the stuff that is made with a lot of love and passion, but just didn't have a lot of money, like Grotesque.
Well, even without streaming, it's just like me being back, in the 90s and such, and you go to a video store, and your indies, your films that they ended up going for smaller distributors would pretty much get virtually no release, but that was a way to get to the fans, and a lot of cult films that are legends in the genre made their way, very much like you're making your way via streaming, to people in video stores. And it's always going to be, and it's this way in horror and everything, the real love and attention to detail is in indie filmmaking. So it's always been.
And it's honestly, it's word of mouth.
Yes,
that's the problem with streaming, is you make so little money at it. You get a penny or less per view, pretty much. So you need and we made fairly decent money with Grotesque in a way, but you could have a million people watch it, and then it's well, it's not even enough to cover half the budget. It's you need to just constantly push it and sell DVDs and everything we're doing, but it's somehow the whole operation. It's not this movie. We have other I Am Haunted, my other series and stuff, that it's all of it together is kind of making enough money just to keep the whole operation going for one more month, and then things kind of fall into our plate, and we keep going, and it's I don't want to stop, but it's just some people love our stuff, and we're gonna keep going as long as people keep watching it. Because but if someone always discovers it again, word of mouth. I'm sure if someone's gonna watch this, they're gonna watch Grotesque, they're gonna like it, they're gonna watch all my other movies, they're gonna go to my YouTube channel, watch everything. And then, hey, we have one more fan, right? We can't, I don't count it in hundreds of millions of dollars. Right now, it's just one fan at a time, one person, and one person liking your stuff. It means a lot to me. And it's that one person, you multiply it 100 times, all of a sudden you have a fan base, and then they buy a t-shirt and they buy some other stuff. And, and all of a sudden it's hey, they're sharing your posts, and hey, and I made a new friend because they friend me on Facebook. And next thing you know is after 7 years, it's hey, we got this whole little ecosystem going based around our movies. So when it comes time to do Grotesque 2, it's holy cow, we just pulled it off. It was an enormous amount of work, but we just pulled it off. I wouldn't say easily, but it's just all the pieces were there. There was no doubt about it. When we called up the cast, hey, you want to be part of Grotesque 2? There was no let me think about it. It was just absolutely, tell me when to be there. So it's kind of good that we just have something that people love that much.
Oh yeah, that's really good. That's really good to hear. And I mean, from Jamie, it sounds like you guys had a great time, and just she loves being a part of it.
Yeah, we for Grotesque 2, we rented a campground at a lake up here in Alberta for a week, and we filmed there for a week, and we stayed out there during the week. And of course, like, how often do you get to do that as an adult? Just go with like 20, 30 people and just like stay for a week at a campground by yourself with, no grown-ups around. And so we just got to like, hang out and party at night and film during the day. And honestly, when it ended, it was kind of like summer's over. It's like, now we got to go back to our day jobs. And, it's just like, it was such a great time. And, everyone worked hard and, kind of everyone wished it could have lasted forever. But yeah, there was a lot of people too that wish they could have been there. Right. A lot of people missed out. And, we had one of our actors, really great actor, Nick Gauthier, who was in my stoner comedy Hot Box. If anyone's seen that, he was the religious guy with the beard. He was like, man, I want to be part of Grotesque too. And he's out in Ottawa, like in Ontario, other side of the country. He's like, I'll fly myself out there on my own money if you let me be in the movie. And we're like, wow, hell yeah. Awesome. So we did that. We had another guy that was a fan of Grotesque and a fan of Elizabeth, who plays Mildred. He drove up from Arizona just to like come to the set. And we're like, his name is Jeff Scott. He's actually a really good actor too. And we're like, all right, well, we'll write you a scene in the movie. So he gets a death scene that we kind of came up with at the last minute. But, people are willing to drive from like, days worth of driving away just to be part of Grotesque. So I think that speaks a lot to what we've created.
That speaks a whole lot. I was just going to ask
you as a director. That's definitely high praise for you as a director.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. That's dope. I do gotta say, we have to see part 2. I want to see that. I can't wait for that to. Hell yeah.
How long was the shoot for part 2?
Sorry?
How long was the shoot for part 2?
I think it was 18 days in the end or something like that. Maybe a bit more. It was a bit
crazy.
It was longer. Like it was I think we finished shooting and like God knows when, quite a while ago now. But yeah, I'm still like exhausted from it. It's just like it was just a lot of work and just I basically do like all the editing and stuff myself too. So I just worked so hard at it to do the premiere. It was exhausting, but yeah, we were like, like I've had other filmmakers like want meetings with me to like figure out how do you film so much and make it look like basically so good for so little money and so quickly. And it's like we just we just are great at planning things out and just keeping it moving, and we just figure out how to like cut every possible corner that we can safely. And we just, even like with the first Grotesque, like some of the scenes, we would just, for example, Jamie Hill's scene where she gets drowned in a toilet. It's like, well, we couldn't film the toilet scene, like the shot with her head going into the toilet, looking up at her. Yeah. We couldn't film that in a real toilet, but we didn't want to shoot it out at the camp because we were only there for like 2 or 3 days. So it's like, okay, well, let's shoot that in this other location when we're shooting this other scene. And then, so we just kind of make sure that we pack every day as efficiently as possible and that we don't waste a single second. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, you can get a lot done. And you'll see Grotesque 2, like it was like a bigger budget than the first one, but it looks way better. It's like, oh, this is starting to look like a real movie now kind of thing. Nice. And, it's a little bit longer and stuff. And there's a lot more to it. There's a lot, there's just a lot of like really nice sets. There's a part we shot in a band, there's like a band that's rehearsing, and then Mildred comes in and does her thing. But we found this, it was like an Airbnb kind of thing or something where this house, she rents out her basement to like local bands to practice, and it's decked out like super cool looking. Because sometimes they put on like little shows there. So we're like, hey, can we rent your space to shoot this scene in? So we had these sets that we didn't have to like create and decorate ourselves. They were like already made. So we basically just show up and it's like, hey, everything's already done. We just got to throw up some lights and film the scene. And it looks like, holy cow, you guys spent a ton of money on this really nice set. Wow. Even the campground, right? It's like, it's already kind of there. And so we, Julie, my co-producer, she's one that plays Blanche, the villain in the first movie. She found this like a roller skating rink. So I think it's the biggest roller skating rink in Canada, apparently. She went in there and talked to the owner and was like, hey, we're filming a movie or whatever. And then basically the owner's like, oh, like, we'll let you film in here for free if you like, basically if we can, give us some promotion. So the opening scene of Grotesque 2 takes place in a roller rink, which we just kind of we wrote the scene around this cool looking location that we got and cost us nothing. So when you kind of just really efficient about things and you can shoot a lot in a short amount of time, but there's a lot of stress, especially when we're paying some of the people like by the day. So it's like if we go over, it's like we don't have money to finish the movie. Right. So, or if it is, it's coming off my credit card, right? So there's kind of always that element of like we can't fuck around. It's like we have to get this done today because there's no other option. A big Hollywood movie, it's like, well, what's another $1 million? Where for us, it's like if it's another $5,000, it's like for a guy like me, just trying to scrape by, it's like that's
a lot.
You go over by 3 days, it's like holy shit, that's like that's like a price of a car. So we have to just make sure that like everyone is on the ball, doing what's right, and everyone's good at their job, which they always are. And people come to our sets, and it's like, it's always fun and a great fun atmosphere, but it's like we're efficient, we're professional, and we get things done quickly.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, Jamie says Brandon has a great team. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like everyone, like Julie and Elizabeth and Caitlin and Jamie Clark and Grace and Sam and James. Everyone we work with, like they're just so awesome to work with, and we all kind of wear different hats. And even our cinematographer James Hastings on Grotesque, he had some experience doing like practical effects, like the death scenes. Whereas Jamie Clark, our makeup artist, we hired her right out of school. She actually had to miss her final exam to work on the movie, but her teacher was like, "Oh, that's fine." So this was like her first time ever on a movie, and so we're like, "Hey, James, like we got to chop someone's foot off. Like, you know how to do that?" So Jamie we rigged up the the blood and the pump or whatever, but James Hastings made the fake foot, and then we rigged that up, and he also did the same scene where Marilyn gets her head lopped off with the the axe or whatever. Yeah, James did the CGI on that, and so it's like such a great team. And some of those kills, even now when I rewatch it, like some of the kills, it's like I wish we just had like a few more hours to try that again. It's just we didn't, so it's like, well, whatever. We did the best we could with what we had.
No, those effects were great. Like I like the scene where she's playing golf with the dude's testicles.
Yes,
like, that was fucking funny. I was like, what the fuck? Hole in one.
Yeah, that was good shit. Those effects
apparently Crazy Dave, who plays the guy that gets his balls cut off, apparently he's got those pants with the blood stain on them, like mounted behind glass in his house.
Nice.
The actor makes a return in part 2, not playing a different character, and he doesn't suffer a horrible fate this time. So it's good for Crazy Dave.
Now, where is that going to be streaming, or do you know, or how does that work?
Part 2, it's we basically distribute it through Film Hub, which basically they kind of like pitch it to like dozens of different streamers, and then whoever wants it picks it up. So we only did this a couple days ago. It's got picked up by Amazon already. So it should be, the only thing is like they don't really give you a date. It's just at some point it'll be out. So every day now I'm checking to see when it's out. So keep an eye out for it. Obviously, like Tubi's the biggest one, which I'm hoping it's the biggest moneymaker too. So I'm hoping it gets picked up by them pretty quickly. Awesome. But over time, even now, like even just last few weeks, the first Grotesque got picked up by a Roku channel, and it's 2 years later. So it's with streaming in the indie world, you're basically at their mercy. So you send them the movie, and then maybe they'll put it out. So just kind of keep an eye on my Facebook page basically, and the YouTube channel, and sooner or later it'll be out, and then word will start spreading. Right now we've been selling DVDs because honestly, like selling one DVD, I make the same profit as like 1,000 or 5,000 streaming views.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'll just sell as many DVDs as I can and kind of milk that until I can't sell anymore. And then, sooner or later, it will be out on streaming soon, but I'll be, I can definitely let you know, and you can kind of put the word out.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You do any like indie cons or anything around up in Canada or in the US?
I don't. We have quite a few. I've done them before, because I used to make comic books too, and I've done them, and I'm just not sold on them. It's just like kind of personally, I like to go to them and kind of check things out rather than have to sit behind a table.
Yeah.
So I'm not against doing it, but it's just, the cost of doing it and having to organize it. It's like, it's kind of one of the reasons I don't really like doing film festivals and stuff. I just like, I kind of like doing things my way. So I don't do a lot of the traditional things that you're supposed to do. So, I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I would rather just go to the con and
enjoy
as
yourself,
a fan rather than as a guy trying to sell stuff. But yeah, I mean, we do a lot of promotion. We do a lot of these podcasts. Like, I'm always promoting it in some sort of a way. So a lot of times I just rely on word of mouth and people like you guys just to watch it and kind of help me get the word out.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You go to the conventions? Nice.
Oh, very cool.
They're fun as hell. I'm both. I like being on both sides of the table. I'm not gonna lie to you. As a podcaster / content creator, or just as a fan, just going around. It's because I do get what you mean though. It does feel good, but you don't have to worry about a table, worry about anything at your table. You could just walk around, be free. It's like, oh shit, you know what? I want to go back. If it's a con, you're staying away, you're at a hotel. It's not too. You know what? I'm gonna go to the room for a little bit, then I'll come back and walk around. You don't have to worry about. For me, my podcast equipment, like I know people leave shit at their table. I don't leave that at my table. Right? No.
It's kind of how I feel now. Whenever you have us on your show, like I can just chill back. I ain't got to touch the mouse. I ain't got to click on nothing.
We're actually working on a new movie now for next year. It's not a horror movie, but I wrote the script for it, but someone else is directing it, which I usually don't do. Usually I direct the things that I write. And it is such weight off my back to not have to be like the one in charge of everything. Like with Grotesque, like I have co-producers, but there's a lot on my plate. Whereas now it feels great that it's like I can just write the movie and I can kind of hang out and participate, but I'm not the one responsible for all the everything done. So that feels kind of good. So we'll see when Grotesque 3, if we ever get around to doing that. We'll see whether or not I'll direct it, but maybe by then I would have forgotten how hard part 2 was, and then I'll kind of want to jump in again.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
But now that you mention it, I think it'd be cool if we go to one of those horror shows and we have Elizabeth there, like in costume. I think that would attract a lot of people.
There you go,
doing stuff like that. But Jamie wants to be a villain in one of your horror movies now.
Brandon needs to write me in as a scary character now. No more nice. Actually, funny enough, like in her character Nina in the first movie, originally, like she didn't do much. She was just kind of like kind of one of the good guys. Like she was there. I think she had like one line or something. And then I was like, oh, Jamie's been in a bunch of my things. Maybe I should, like give her a bigger role. So we expanded her character. We kind of gave her this, she has a little bit of a character arc now where she was kind of the one that everyone made fun of before Mildred started working there. And then as soon as like Mildred came, all of a sudden Jamie moved up a notch. And all of a sudden she became one of like the bitches that's like, pick on the new girl because I'm no longer the new girl. So all of a sudden she's trying to suck up to like, Blanche and her, minions.
Her posse.
And then she pays the price for it by getting drowned in a toilet.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens. There you go. Shit happens. Oh man, this was definitely fun. I definitely want to do this again though, man. I definitely want to have you on again for this. This was a good time.
Yeah, after Grotesque 2 comes out, by all means, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that because it's it's the same but it's different. It's so far been very good reviews, but really we've only had the handful of people have watched it on DVD, and then the people that went to the 2 screenings we've had. So it really hasn't hit worldwide yet. So I'm kind of interested to see, see what the world at large thinks of it.
There you go, man. There you go. You gotta get the word out there. Let people know. Go check out this movie because it's fun. It's fun.
I can't wait to check out the sequel.
Fun. Yeah, same here.
Bless you for keeping physical media alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely there with you.
Yeah, where can people get your DVDs from?
Basically send me an email, and if you pay by PayPal, and and then I will mail it to you with an autograph if you request it.
Oh,
yeah, all my movies are available for sale. So yeah, if you want, I'll send you my or I guess you have my email address. So yeah, if you want it, they're $25 including shipping,
Okay.
and then give me your address and I'll mail it to you.
Awesome.
Boom.
I'm down. Yeah.
There you go.
I'll get that off you, Sturdy. If you want to
Yes,
send
sir.
it to me later.
I'll connect you guys after this episode. I got you guys. You already know how this goes. You already know how this rolls, guys. But we are going to kind of wrap this up.
Are we going to rate this?
Yes, you're right, James. What's your rating, James?
I had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to give this an 8.
Okay. Trevor?
It was very much a lot of fun. A lot of amazing references to Canadian horror cinema alone, because of course Canada is, when it comes down to it, Black Christmas is still the original slasher. So it was a lot of fun. I definitely liked the humor element. The pacing was very good. So I'll give it a 7.
7. How about you, Dave?
Me, a lot of fun. I needed this movie at the time I watched it, and to know that you filmed it in Canada, because I'm a huge Bret Hart mark, I gave you an 8.5.
Oh,
Bret Hart. The Bret Hart.
The hitman Bret Hart, man.
Mark.
I never say 10. I don't think I've ever given a movie a 10 out of 10. Just throw that out.
I wouldn't even give it a 10, and I made it. So no hard feelings.
I definitely give it an 8. Like, it definitely is up there with all the other just fun, silly horror movies I've seen back in the day, like Bad Taste, stuff like that. It has that element like Killer Nerd. Just fun movies.
Killer Nerd. There you go.
Trauma-ish. There's definitely like a trauma feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did a podcast a couple weeks ago where they were comparing it to trauma movies, and I was like, I can kind of see how that vibe. Yeah, I can see how it could fit in there.
Yeah,
Brandon,
I gave it a 7 as well.
I'm not blowing smoke, Brandon. I really mean that. I needed this movie today.
You had a rough one.
Well, I really
I had a rough day. I needed this movie. I
Day?
really mean that.
You had a really rough one today, Dave?
Yeah, we were cracking up the whole film we were watching.
That's awesome.
It was good shit.
Yeah, this I gave a 7 as well. And I will say this is definitely one where you will enjoy it more watching it with somebody that has a sense of humor. Just so you can get some more, you get the laughs more when you're watching funny things with others. And I'm gonna put you on a spot, Brandon and Jamie. I do want both of your honest ratings of this film as well.
Ooh,
and you can even, as a matter of fact, to make it a little bit different for you two, make it a little more difficult for you two, you can even add in the fact of, and I know you said you had a good time on set, but everything on set, good and bad, and then the finished result. And if you need a couple minutes to think about it,
I'd have to say it's kind of hard to I want to give it a good rating, but I'd say like 7.5, just because I know what it could have been, right?
Well, you're always going to be objective on your own work. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, there's a few things that if I could have some money and go back and fix a few things, I can make it a 9,
Okay.
But if you're watching it and you don't know what it was supposed to be like, so yeah, but overall, like in terms of part of me in a way wants to give it a 10 just because it's the movie I set out to make, and we hit a lot of things right, but there's this, I can't help but being critical of my own work.
No, I like the honesty. I'd rather you be critical than say like everything's perfect, because then it's just like, you know what I mean? But you there giving your honest opinion of it, and then going back to thinking of everything on set and just the finished product, and you're like, hey.
I mean, how can you rate your own work when you reach out and touch horror fans and create a fandom unto yourself based on being a horror fan? You can't put a rating on that.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just awesomeness. So,
Got to do it for the show, though. Got to put him on.
Well.
Got to put him on the thing for the show. You know how that goes.
Just through our conversation, you can tell how humble he is.
Yeah, yeah, but no, I like how he said though, like if he had the budget for it, I'm sure things that he's learned from Grotesque too, and things that he's been working on in general, that he's learned just in general, where if he wishes he can go back and fix certain things to make it like he said at 9 or whatever the case may be. In his opinion,
make his next works better though. He's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I think if you see part 2, it's like it's pretty much the same team came back. Even all the actors, we killed so many people in the first movie that we ran out of actors here in Edmonton. So pretty much everyone for part 1 comes back in part 2.
Oh shit, we killed everybody.
So yeah, so if you watch part 2, you'll be like, hey, that's the guy that got his head cut off in the first one.
Maybe there won't be a part 3.
Kill them all everybody. JB gave it a 7. And
7. She's saying part 2 is an 8.5.
Oh, damn! No, I'm excited for part 2 now.
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here. Mm-hmm. But this was a great time. And Brandon, I want to thank you again for coming on. And can you please just tell the awesome viewers and listeners where they can find you, if you want to be found? That is. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. If you just look up my name, Brandon Rhiness, I'm on there. Higher Universe is my company. So if you look up Higher on YouTube, just look up Higher Universe, and you'll see the Higher Universe YouTube channel. It has it has Grotesque on it for one, but it has the I'm Haunted series and a bunch of other projects or films I've done. So that's probably the best place to see my work. But yeah, I'm on social media, on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to reach out to me. Awesome.
Subbing right now, brother.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Video store clerks, can you guys want to let them people know where they can find you guys?
Take it, Chief.
Yes, you can of course find us on YouTube at Video Store Clerks. We're also on Twitch. Twitch is more or less a backup in case our YouTube channel gets a copyright strike.
Spanking.
But you can find us on Facebook as well. Video Store Clerks Podcast. We're around.
Yes, they are. And Trevor, you want to let the people know where they can find you?
Yep. ambassadorradio.org. I want to apologize. We've been a little stagnant, but there's reasoning for that, hopefully in the future. But from there, you can follow all of our socials, YouTube, and that's just ambassadorradio.org.
James, you want to tell them about Popcorn and Pints?
Popcorn Pints, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are reviewing Lost World, the remake with Will Ferrell, and Jurassic Unit. Was that one called? Do you remember?
I don't know. Some other dinosaur shit. Some other dinosaur.
It's like Jurassic
that
Galaxy.
Needs to be a movie.
It should be some other dinosaur shit. If it's not a movie, it needs to be.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Dinosaur Weekend.
See, so what? Land of the Lost and some dinosaur movie.
There you
it's
go.
Like Tammy and the T-Rex again. No.
I haven't seen that yet, but I want to.
You gotta, yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna. But before we go,
yes, that one's painful.
Before we go, we will be back Thursday, 8:00 Eastern Time, to talk about The Cannibal Man, and then I'll be back around midnight Friday to talk a little Death Proof, which is
nice.
Unfortunately, it's a very sad movie. You know what happens to those muscle cars, and there's a lot of feet in it. But we're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna have some fun with that. But you can come and see Horror with Sturdy every Tuesday and Thursday. First Sturd-O-Ween, which is September 1st, October 31st, from Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:00 Eastern Time. And actually, the Sturd-O-Vision, the Friday show, this is gonna be the last week of it until Sturd-O-Ween is over with. Just because I need time to breathe and all that other shit and stretch, so I need to put one show away. So that one's going away till November. Gone to November like Wyclef. But we'll be here Tuesday, Thursday, and like James said, Saturdays with Popcorn and Pints. So make sure you go check out everybody that was here tonight. I'm actually going to drop the links in the comments or also in the description. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have an amazing night. I hope you guys have a great time, and check out Grotesque. Go check out all these other guys. Great content creators.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And Brandon, I hope we get to meet again because I have a million other questions I love to ask you.
Brandon, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah, if you guys stick around for stick around for a couple of minutes too. I'm gonna end the live, and then we could shoot the shit for a couple of minutes. But to all you out there, again, thank you guys for watching. Check out everybody here, some awesome people. Brandon, go check out more of his movies that he's directed and written and all that good stuff. And for everyone else, I'll see you in your nightmares. And rest in peace. And damn, our childhood took a rough hit this week, but we got some cool movies to watch. We're gonna go